How's everybody doing this morning? Everybody's pretty quiet. Was anybody out last night at Treefort, or is it all just Hackforters today? Looks like a lot of Hackforters. I love it. Well, hey guys, I'm Sean Wakely. I'm the director of Hackfort. I really appreciate you all coming out. Yesterday was a total zoo. I highly recommend you stick around. There's a lot of great programming today. I'm super stoked to not only have an organization here today that has been a supporter of me for a long time, but also a sponsor this year of my event. I've known Ryan. I've had the pleasure of knowing Ryan for a long time, and recently John from the team. But I'm super stoked. Black Box really is something new and different. If you guys have time, they have a happy hour on the schedule. I highly recommend you check out the gym. It's just over across the street on 8th. I can personally say that their gym helped me really get back into fitness in an amazing way, and it's been great. So Ryan, I'm going to turn it over to you. We will have some time for Q&A, and I will have someone passing around a microphone so we can get it all recorded. Thanks, Ryan.
All right. Okay, good. Smaller group. That means I can harass each of you individually. Whoops, you should have stayed out later last night. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for having me. And Sean's looking great. He's been a Black Box member for quite a while. And I think he's probably in the best shape of your life, right? So, heck yeah, let's learn about how we did some of that. So when you're thinking about your career, there's 3 different ways you can look at the difficulty mode. You can live with your parents, and that's the easiest, of course. Which, John, that's you, right? So, you have corporate life, right? So that's the next level down, right? It's difficult, but it's manageable. And then there is starting your own business. Like that's the brutal, hardest difficulty mode, when you're choosing that for life. So how does it feel to start your own business? Some of you may know, some of you may be thinking about it. This is a little video of Super Meat Boy. Have you guys ever played that game? Yep. Oh, Sean has. It's a very popular game known for being very difficult. So you can watch how difficult this is with this person struggling at it. Oh, no sound. Let's turn it up.
This whole level should be second nature to me by now. It's definitely not looking that way now. I was like, if I didn't make that, I'd be so furious.
So the idea is you have to make it through the level without dying, and it's very difficult.
Games, so I feel like I should be getting better. But whenever I play this game, I feel like I'm getting much worse. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh. There's got to be a trick to that. And I don't want to cheat. I don't want to go online and figure out where you're supposed to jump there. I feel like that would ruin it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Oh. This game is seriously going to give me an ulcer. I swear to God. Oh, my God. Okay. Oh. I already want to quit. This is not good. I hate feeling like this. I don't play games to relax, but this level is infuriating. Okay. My thumbs are getting tired.
Is anybody feeling anxiety for him?
I just started. Let's get to where you need to be. Light jump. Hold right. Go over that. Somehow make it through there.
So that's what it feels like every day when running a startup, right? It's like you're almost there and you're getting closer, and then there's something that comes and takes it back, and you're constantly learning and trying to figure it out. Because building a startup really is like playing a very difficult video game. So that's basically what I'll be talking about today, is how it'd be great to have a strategy guide. And I'm going to help deliver that strategy guide for you. So speaking of, have you guys ever had Nintendo Power? Got a few older people here. That's right. So this was like the Bible right back then, where like you didn't have the internet, so you wanted to find out how to play these games and how to win. So every month I would get this. And luckily I got it because way back when I was in 5th grade, so that's like 2014. Geez, it's been a while. Yeah. So back in long time ago, right, there was this competition for Nintendo they had here in Boise at a little video store. and they said, you're going to be playing Super Mario Brothers, and so you can get the highest score. So I was in 5th grade. I went down there. I've been practicing. I had my strategy guide, and I'd learned about this little special trick that you can do in Super Mario Brothers in order to kind of cheat the game a little bit and get a higher score. And this is basically how it worked. So you'd get to the final part of this level on World 3-1, and if you hit this little turtle shell just right, every time you jumped on it, the score would double until you started getting 1-ups, more and more free guys. So what I would do is I would jump on it until the 1-up started. So I'd get all the double score, jump off, jump back on, and just keep racking up the score. So basically, I went to that competition. There was hundreds of kids there, and I actually won. So if anybody wants the autograph of the 90 Nintendo champion of Idaho, like I'll be right outside the door. But what's funny about it is, so obviously figuring that out made it so I could win that competition. And afterwards, remember I was in 5th grade, I was walking home, and this is basically what the 6th graders were doing, because there was this one 6th grader that thought it was unfair, chased me home, and was trying to beat me up. Luckily, got away. So a little bit more about me. So I'm basically from here in Boise, Idaho. This is my family here. My wife, Nelia, my kids, and then my dog, Brownie, who's a big Boise State fan. Since this photo's been taken, another human appeared at my house, little Adeline. She's now 17 months old. In my free time, I'm a private pilot, about 2,500 hours in the PC-12. We use that for fun, for business, and how's it going? All right. What are we up? 10, right? And we'll also use it for charity, things like going and picking up dogs. There'll be like dogs in shelters that are in kill shelters that are set to be euthanized, and we can take them mostly here to Idaho where they'll have homes. I'm a big reader. If you follow me on Goodreads, which you can, I have all the books that I read on there, reading constantly, learning. And much to the amusement of my friends, my wife was from Russia, so I took up ballroom dancing a few years ago. So I'm not good, but in still pictures, it looks good. Way back when I was a kid, I realized that what I wanted to do was be fit and work out. And so a lot of people go into music, or they go into art, or they go into sports. And for me, it was I wanted to go into fitness. I wanted to get this is obviously a few years earlier, but I started working out because, be better at sports and, get girls and look good and become a personal trainer or own my own personal training studio. So a few years later, right after I graduated high school here in Idaho in Capitol High in 1996, April 13th, 1999, that's when we started a company called bodybuilding.com. We heard about the internet. It was like this new big thing. It was like, oh, you can go online. You can actually talk to other people and get information. Like, it was this mind-blowing thing, right? With AOL, I had all the AOL CDs, that I would keep getting free trials because I couldn't afford it. And started a company called bodybuilding.com, working together with John Hardesty here and many others. Built it from the garage up to about $500 million in annual revenue. 800 employees. We were the most visited fitness website in the world at the time, the largest esports nutrition retailer, and the largest community of people for fitness. And so that was great. Right here in Boise, we had a really great team. Sold that in 2015. Decided to take a little break. This is a picture from Thailand. So it sounded nice, right? Like working really hard from 1999 to 2015. And it's basically, internet business especially is 24/7. So taking a little bit of a break. Thought that would be nice, but got bored really fast. Because sometimes what people don't realize about happiness is that you have to have something that you care about. And I always preach that while working at bodybuilding.com, but then I learned it when I had no purpose in my life that was, outside just normal kind of things. And this kind of graphic kind of really showed it was, there's happiness up here and there's time. People really want the pleasure part, like rock star, like sitting on the beach and just drinking pina coladas. That would be the way to be happy the fastest. Next up is kind of passion, where you're in that flow and engagement, where you're working on some things that matter. But the next level is that higher purpose, where you're working on something that not only you care about, but also makes a difference for other people. And that was what I was missing in my life. So April 2016, I said it's time to start another mission. So when you're thinking about your mission, like going back to the video game analogy, when you're choosing a mission in a game, right? This is like, what is the overarching thing that you're trying to do, whether it's with you're building a game, whether you're building a company, what is a problem that you're trying to solve? What is something that you actually care about that is important, that needs to be solved? Like, it's a fundamental first step to starting a business, but a lot of people don't really think about it. They think, what's a cool, fun thing I could do, or what's a cool technology. But it really has to be, there's a problem that people need solved that's in the world that they will pay for. So for us at Black Box, we realized that people are not physically active in America, right? Everybody knows this. Less than 5% of adults participate in even 30 minutes of physical activity each day. More than 80% of adults and adolescents do not meet the guidelines for both aerobic and muscle strengthening exercises. And it's literally killing us. Like, this is a list of the type of things that happen to your body when you're physically inactive. You know, when you're not as good a shape as you can be. We know the U.S. obesity rate continues to climb. It's a few years old. I'm sure it's higher. It's almost half of people in the U.S. are obese, including 20% of adolescents, and even more children more than ever are continuing to become overweight and obese, and becoming the leading cause of death. So for us, that was our purpose. That was what we cared about at bodybuilding.com, and that was something that really drove us. This is a problem that needs to be solved. And so what is the issue? Like, why are people not active? Well, really, people quit. They want to get into it. They get excited about it, and they start their workout, right? This is the gym in January, right? We all know this. Like, gym in December, empty. Gym in January 1st, it's like packed. And then a couple of weeks later, everybody's gone. And in the industry, in the fitness industry, we kind of joke about it, right? It's like, oh yeah, don't worry, the New Year's resolutionary, so I'll be here in the gym, but they'll all be gone in 2 weeks. And we kind of accept it. Even the fitness industry is made for that. Sign up at this gym, get on a contract that you can't get out of, because they know you're not going to come back. So they make it difficult. So most people start a fitness program, 77% of people don't stick to it. And the only secret to fitness success is sticking to it over the long term. And why is it difficult? Because as we all know, even in the industry, working out is boring, painful, repetitive. You're doing the same things over and over and over. Like, we would talk to like top bodybuilders and fitness models, and on Instagram, they love working out. It's their favorite thing ever. But when you talk to them in private, they're tired of it. It's the same thing over and over. And a lot of times they'd be like off their plan as well. And the workouts that delivered are the same things that they've been around forever, right? And so we all know how painful that can feel. In fact, I found this little time lapse of an F45 workout, which they posted it thinking this is like the coolest thing ever. But it's like, when you really look at it, it's like they're just like, repetitively jumping around, doing mind-numbingly boring things. Try to make it fun with loud music, with somebody pushing you, and with a group to kind of make it so you don't quit, But it's the same things we've been doing forever. So once you've identified the problem that you want to solve, you have to realize, are you the one that should fix it? Is this something that you are uniquely qualified to fix, that you are passionate about, you care about enough that you're going to stick through it through the hard times, like Super Meat Boy feeling through your journey? What knowledge or experience do you have, right? Because if this is an actual problem out there, something you are uniquely qualified with, your experience, your passion, your knowledge, and the people around you, how is this something that you will be able to be successful with? And then choose your weapon. Does anybody know what game this is? All right, good. Yeah, all right. Because I was about to shut the laptop and just walk out. But it's choosing your technology. Like, what technology are you going to use in order to solve that problem? And why that's important is because if it's a technology that's been around for a long time, most likely the big corporations have already thought of it. They've already using it. Like, it doesn't give you that advantage if you're trying to do a startup or something that's really brand new. So understanding that new technology that's going to help you solve it in a new way, and figuring out what other tools you're going to use around that, and why that will give you the advantage. Like, you can't just pick a technology and say, oh, we're going to use this thing, and how come that's going to help? Like, we don't know. You've got to have at least some kind of understanding. So for us, it was virtual reality. We realized that this new technology was coming on. It was early 2016. The Oculus DK1 and DK2 had just came out. And this looked like something that could actually help people to turn their workout into something they might enjoy. So we looked at the technology. And so whatever technology you're looking at, you have to look, what new does it bring to the world? Like, you could say, oh, VR, you put your headset on and now you can surf the internet like on a browser, right? It's almost like the old radio shows when TV came out. They just had radio shows on TV. They didn't use the medium. What does this new technology bring that wasn't there before? With virtual reality, it brings full immersion. And we've all seen funny VR fails, where this person forgot there's not actually a pool table there. Your brain doesn't understand that what you're seeing and moving in is not real. And that's a brand new thing that's never been possible before. 3D movement and tracking. This is Tilt Brush, still one of the most fun art games. whenever people do this, when we do little demos of VR, they kind of stay in one place. We're like, no, you can draw this thing and now walk to the other side of it. Now move around it, right? You can actually move and track people in 3D very easily. And that's something that has not been possible before VR. Instant time and location travel. You can be anywhere at any time with the experience that you create. This is Google Earth, where you can actually go into a Google Maps basically, and then put this little thing in your head, and now you're there in the street view version of it, right? So you can go anywhere in the world immediately. Spatial awareness and scale. Another thing that VR brings is you're actually inside the experience. You can actually feel, like with an architecture program like this, how tall the ceilings really are, how the room really feels. I always tell a story when I first built a house the first time, it was always buying houses that were already there. I was like, I'm going to build one, work with an architect, looked all great in the plans. So excited. They then put the foundation down. They put the framing up, and I went there the first time to go check it out. And I immediately felt like this hallway was too small. This thing's uncomfortable. And I lived there for about 6 months once it was done, right? Could have saved a lot of time by developing these things in a virtual environment. And did I mention full immersion? Probably might have seen this video. This guy fighting zombies. Like, he is there. I don't know what that guy's doing. But that's a really big part of it, is that you can actually feel like you're there. So now you've picked out your mission. You're the right person that can solve it. And you picked out the technology you're going to use to go after this. First quest for us was to start a co-op game. And this is when I went and found, working with my co-founder, Preston Lewis. And we said, we have complementary skills. We're both passionate about this same thing. Let's co-op together and go do this. Quest number 2, set up your mission base. Where are we going to be located? So we went and found a little office downtown. We said, we need a place where we're going to be doing our work. We need the materials. We need the stuff that we need there. And this will be where we're going to have our base. Quest 3, we need to obtain the required equipment. So we went out and bought like as many different types of VR equipment as we could. And we just started testing everything to just really understand the technology. So you can see what these first few quests are, which once again is something a lot of people skip, is the knowledge gathering and learning phase. Because as much as you think you know about what you're going to do, even if it's just you're developing a game or you're developing some kind of app, there are so many things you don't know about it that it's much better to start up front and say, I'm going to go and I'm going to find out everything. So we went and got all the equipment. Of course, my kids loved it, so they were in VR all the time. So we just used it. We just downloaded every single app we could and played everything just to understand it. Quest 4, read all the things. Has anybody read all the things in like Skyrim? I always think that would be a good idea, but I'm like, let me read. No, it's too many pages. But that's really what, in a lot of these games, you got to start understanding like what's the backstory, what's going on. And so we went and read every book we could find on this and related technologies, every website, of course, research studies, podcasts, Reddit forums, subscribe to everything, right? So like we want to get like as much knowledge as we can. Let's go and really download this. And then quest 5, seek the wisdom from the elders. So who are the people in the industry today? Either on the technology side, the gaming side, the fitness side. So going to conferences, meeting with industry experts, figuring out who are these people that have that knowledge and go and find out. Quest 6, now we're going to go talk to the villagers to get that inside knowledge. So we went around Boise and other places. We actually back then created the Idaho Virtual Reality Council. And the idea was not to have a council as much as it was to like bring everybody together, for us to learn as much as we can about everything to do when it comes to VR, AR, and related technologies. So this is us meeting with game developers in Boise just to understand what people are doing here and how it works. Now we have all the information. We know where we're going to play. So we want to create that clear, compelling vision. What are we trying to do, right? So this is Minecraft. Somebody that didn't have a clear and compelling vision, just did whatever they felt like and see what happens. Kind of this ugly thing. I'm not really sure what it is. But if you have a better plan, you can actually create something like this, which is also in Minecraft, and understanding what direction we're trying to go. So for us, we said, how can VR solve the problem of adherence to exercise? So we realized while researching this technology that this is the way we can make exercise fun and addictive. We could fully gamify fitness, bring the best of video games and the fun part of all that into an actual fitness program, because you can go inside and be fully immersed. Deliver guidance with immediate feedback. So right away, you're doing the wrong form, we can tell you what you're doing. If you're playing the game wrong, we can tell you right away with the game. teaching and monitoring exercise form, immersing the user in an exciting world that distracts them from the boring part of exercise, reducing pain perception. So studies have shown now that when you're in VR, you actually feel less pain when you're doing certain type of workouts than you would outside because you're focused on that game and in this environment. Reducing the time perception. Like kind of I had one on the other slide, the joke about like, what's the worst part about the first 30 minutes of being on the treadmill? Only 5 minutes have gone by, right? You ever like cover up the clock? Be like, all right, how about like, you gotta be kidding me. It goes by so slow. Have you ever played a video game? Have you ever been, I'm going to play just one more round, 30 more minutes. Then I'm going to bed because I have a big important speech tomorrow at Hackford. And then you're up till 4 a.m. on accident. That didn't happen last night, you know. But have you ever had that? It just goes by so fast. That's the opposite of fitness. And that's what we wanted to bring to your workout program. And creating that social fitness experience that doesn't depend on being physically in the same place. So what basically came out to was that we wanted to create the Ready Player One VR version of exercise together with resistance training, because we're big believers in strength training, not just cardio. Obviously together with cardio, high intensity interval training, the type of cardio that's actually going to help you lose fat, get in shape faster in an esports style game and environment. So at that point, it was time to clan up. So this is Rocket League showing how important it is to have a good team. So you see in Rocket League, if it doesn't touch the ground, even when it's at 0, the clock, it still goes. So they keep hitting it back up. Mm-hmm. Does anybody play Rocket League? Okay, good. So I'm the best in this room because nobody else plays. All right. You know? But obviously the importance of having a team is so important. And the other big part about having a team, no matter which type of project that you're doing, if it's a startup or a game or an app, is making sure you have different skill sets. Everyone knows Overwatch, World of Warcraft, damage, tank, support, right? If everybody's doing damage, everybody's tank, everyone's support, like it's not going to work. You need all three. So what is that in a startup? You need different skill sets. And usually it's technology, business and sales, and there could be somebody that's doing more support type of roles. Next step is clearly defining your mission and your goals. So video games are really good at that. Right up front, they're going to tell you everything you need to know.
What's the sit rep on New York? The Russian jamming rigs have neutralized our air support. As long as they maintain air dominance, it's a losing fight. We cannot lose New York. Are there any special mission units in the area we can request? JSOC's got a Delta Force team at Bennett Field. Call sign Metal. Overlord, Metal 01 is up on Greenside.
This is Sandman. Understand we are OpCon to you. Over.
Glad to have you in our corner, Sandman. The Russians are using electronic countermeasures to jam our comms and guidance systems. The primary emission tower is on top of the stock exchange. I need your team to destroy it. The jammer's full spectrum, so until it's down, you'll have no radio contact. I have ground assets to get you close. Over.
Copy all. We'll get it done.
How many people at your work or in your project, it's that clear? Here's exactly what I need to do. Here's where it's at. We have all the intel. We have all the team. We have the different skill sets. But that really is one of the most important things that also people miss is how do you lay out clear goals? That's part of why people love video games. Most of life is not that clear. How do I get better at this? Or how do I make more money? Or how do I get more fit? It's like it's more money or do better at my job and get that promotion. Video games give you very clear goals. They make it very simple, which makes it very motivating. So in your business, that's what you need to do. So for us, we laid out right from the beginning the longer term plan, but we also said, here's what our mission is. We are going to help our members transform their lives through addictive fitness experiences that harness the power of immersive technology. So that was where we were going to go, and we were creating the plan down from there. So next step was now we need to start prototyping. You know, you start going into, you got all your quest kind of preparation. Now we're going to go out there. We know what we're trying to do. We need to start prototyping and try to figure out how we're going to actually solve that puzzle. So this is my co-founder, Preston. At first, we had no idea like how we're going to get resistance training inside VR. So we just would like close our eyes, lay on the ground. Then you're like lifting this thing and, you know, like just trying to imagine stuff, like just trying to see how it feels. we actually hooked up a HTC Vive controller to a dumbbell so we could track it, right? So just like literally duct tape and Velcro. What does it feel like to have resistance inside of an exercise or a VR experience? We found some exercise machines like this older one we found. What can we do with some kind of cable machine where we can bring that in there, make it so that it actually feels good? And, with the bench, of course, you're going to be like tripping over it because you can't see it, what happens there. So we kind of realized like we needed electronic resistance. We couldn't use dumbbells, can't change the weight. You're going to drop them on you. You can't really use benches. So we said, if we could use electronic resistance, we can control it with the Unity game engine. And that would make it so that we can actually get resistance into VR in a more safer way. So starting to test that, we found this old exercise cable machine, and we literally took out the weight stacks and we put in our first device for tracking or for giving resistance. And this is my wife here. She was always the test dummy. It's like, come on here and try this out. What does it feel like? We hooked the controllers, so you can see, onto the handles there so we could track them. And we were actually seeing what the resistance felt like inside VR. And at first we started getting all sorts of weird problems, the type of problems you don't know you're going to run into. So as soon as you turn on our machine, we would lose tracking on the VR headset. Like it would just gray out. And we could not figure out like why the heck this stupid thing was happening. It was we're literally putting blue tape all over this in order to like cut out reflections. We're literally putting aluminum foil, over this thing to block electronic interference. Could not figure it out. So one day we talked to somebody at Valve. We ran into them at a GDC and we said, what's going on here? And he said, one of our coworkers has the same problem as HVAC turns on. So there's some kind of interference coming from that. So if you use a ferrite donut, wrap the cable around it, it actually takes out that interference. So we always like to say like a donut like saved a fitness company for the first time ever. Then it started using the spatial kind of feeling of what's it like in VR and to actually build an exercise machine. What's it going to feel like, the dimensions of it, right? So we would go in, create these different prototypes and just pretend we're touching them, right? Because everybody's body's different. We want to do all these different exercises. What does it actually feel like before we built it? So this was the first version that we actually built, way overcomplicated. It's this big metal refrigerator with 1,000 different pulleys. This is what it looked like kind of all put together. Once again, very overcomplicated. And so we said we can't do that. So we started going back to the drawing board. We also want to see what it feels like to actually gamify some of the fitness. This is like before Beat Saber and some of these other ones where that there actually was some kind of VR fitness experiences. This was one of our team members, literally the most basic experience, just kind of jumping around, dodging things. How does that feel with a headset on? How does it feel actually in VR? What can we learn from that? Started looking at how do we track the data? So using machine learning to be able to track what people are doing and be able to then turn that into the resistance workout program that's personalized to them. Because the idea of progressive overload inside fitness, right, is that you don't want to just use the same weight all the time. You got to be continuing to go up. How do we make sure that we deliver that in a way that makes sense? Tracking up to 50,000 data points per workout, putting that into some machine learning AI to deliver it back in real time so the person doesn't have to think about it. What kind of characters are we going to have? So starting to just play around with like what kind of characters are going to be in the game? What do they look like? What's the feel of it? Just overall branding from the logo and the name, like so playing around with all the different type of things there. Going through and tracking how it's actually working for people. So this is people's 1 rep maxes. Is it going up? Are they actually getting the fitness results? This is the next version of our exercise machine that was less complicated, but still a lot to learn. So we're testing it out. And then we made a decision, which I really recommend to anybody creating a product, is eat your own dog food. You always hear about it, right? It's like use your own product as a user. And this is a very difficult thing for a lot of people because even at Bottom.com, like we would create this like protein finder, like find the best protein powder for you. And we all the work and all the development and it'd be up there and people liked it. And I remember like a few months later, I was like, you know what? I kind of want to find a new protein powder myself. I'll go use our thing. And then immediately using it as a user, there was like 5 things. I'm like, oh, I need this. We need this. So with Black Box, we said, once we got to this point, we had a countdown. We are going to only work out in VR for the rest of our lives. We're never going to go back to a regular gym again. And that was this kind of moment of like, let's force us to use it as a real user. Starting building out the companion app that goes together with it. When you're in VR, in the experience, we want that to be limited to get the workout in, get out. Then you can go use the app to get everything else. It's like managing your team, your deck, your power-ups, your cards, your the chests and your stats and all those kind of things. Developing all the different environments. How does it feel to be in these type of environments? And then building a beta gym. We built a little beta gym in a warehouse over by Costco in Boise and just started getting real users' feedback, which is obviously a critical step. And at that point, it was time to start building more of these machines for us to be able to get to an actual commercial environment for the ultimate test. So it was literally a bunch of us putting all this stuff together here in Boise. And about 3 years after we started, this is basically what we created. So it's got a little bit older version of the game, but Sean, does it pretty much feel like that? It's just there's more banging and loud noises, and especially when he's in there, there's a lot of crying. I've noticed you're crying. Yeah. Yep, there you go. Exactly. Yep. It was nice you're in your own private booth, so if you want to cry, it's okay. But yeah, but it's funny. Like the exciting part is that like it does push you so much, where like you'll think, oh, I'm just gonna kind of relax today and not do it too hard, and then they're attacking your gate, they're doing this thing, and you're about to lose this round. So you're like, I gotta like do 5 more reps of heavy squats, and then you come out like, gosh dang it, you know.
I can never leave a session not totally like cardio and strength. I mean, you guys really balance it. It's amazing.
Like, yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, so that's what's fun about it, is it makes it actually 30 minutes, super fast workouts, right? So it's like you don't have to be there for hours, 3 times per week. Gives you the amount of exercise volume that we want you to get. And we've actually done 3 UCLA studies now, starting number 4, showing that 3 30-minute sessions of black box, super intense, focus. Like I said, you're not on your phone, you're not at the drinking fountain, you're not taking time resting as much, helped get people better results than 1 hour, 5 times a week of traditional exercise. So 90 minutes a week versus 5 hours. They rated it as way more enjoyable. They adhered to the program. More muscle gain, more fat loss, better resting heart rate. Every fitness metric improved more than traditional. And it's because of hacking the brain in a way using that video game psychology. So then we went and said, let's go and show this thing off at CES a few years ago. So this was us at CES. And this is with the Today Show. So, you know, they came in there and it was actually really funny. Like, all right, they're, you know, doing chest press against just some little thing. And, you know, these, some of these anchor women were like, yelling like, oh, I gotta get him. I was like, when's the last time you did you know, chest press? Never. You know, and just were like going at it, you know. So that was really fun for our team. And they had a competition like they do every year at CES of like who was like the best startup they saw. And so out of 500 startups, #1 victory royale. You know, so that was a great moment for our team. And of course, what's next, right? So now we're done. Drop the mic. No, there's a lot more to do when it comes to developing the product, making it way better, and bringing it to the masses. And so that's why we started opening up locations. This is our location here in San Francisco, right across from Twitter headquarters. And of course, we have one here in Boise, above Ruth's Chris, basically, right here downtown. Just a little one you can go and try out today. What time's the happy hour? 2 to 3. So if you want to come try it out, get a free demo. It's right there. So what does it feel like when you finally get it right as an entrepreneur? Remember Super Meat Boy? I've seen this video a million times. I'm still nervous. Just remember, if he hits any of those, he has to start over. Got the key.
Oh my God.
So the fun part about starting a business is it is like a video game. And if you treat it that way and follow the normal tropes of video games and work really hard, obviously, with a great team, with that bigger mission, when you beat the level or complete the quest, it's your opportunity to change the world. And that's what we love at Black Box VR. Thank you, Sean, for being a great member and our team at Black Box, including John, and everybody here for coming, showing up early. Give yourself a round of applause.
Thank you so much, Ryan. That was awesome. Do we have any questions?
When's it coming to Meridian?
That's a great question because
I can't keep going downtown at 5
Yep.
in the morning.
All right, nice. It's coming to Meridian near Sensi, hopefully this summer. So we'll have it is kind of a pain being downtown. Sean likes it, it's near him, but like being downtown is not as much fun. But we'll have it there, and it'll be 14 booths, much bigger place, much more fun. You're gonna love it.
Space like 8th and Main does? Like a shower and
It will.
room? Oh, that's awesome.
Well, actually, not a shower, but it will have a bathroom and stuff.
Okay.
Well, we might have a shower. Now you convinced me. Should we have a shower?
Yes.
All right.
God, yes.
Yeah. Well,
So-
most like fitness boutiques, like Orange Sears and F45s, like they don't usually have a shower. It's like people go there and go home. But like, we should probably have at least one. Yeah.
Do you?
A virtual shower. Yeah.
virtual
I like
shower.
that. Yeah. Put the headset on.
Yeah, maybe you guys can innovate
spritz
there.
them.
You know, because I mean, you guys are really good about sterilizing everything, cleaning the rooms. Maybe you just have like a sterilization chamber.
Go
This
in
is
there.
the
Yep,
future.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. Smart. Yep.
Ryan, I do have a question. You know, I mean, I know you guys are trying to polish this and like, you know, get it, you know, so you can really start to branch out. But like, I'm just curious from you, like what in your mind, you know, what game mode, once you get past where we are now with the current, you know, style of play, what game mode are you excited about? Or like, what's your vision for what you want next?
So most of the game is single player, you know, or asynchronous kind of competition. We're getting ready to launch raid mode, where it'll actually be more fun. We'll actually, as your team, you'll actually be all raiding against a certain, like basically dungeon, which, you know, you'll prep for it for the 3 weeks of the week, 3 weeks of the month, and then the last week will be raid mode, where everybody will be contributing to that. But then, of course, multiplayer, which we really want to lean towards a co-op multiplayer, because competitive is great, especially in sports. But it's also really great to like say, hey, you and I are both going to go in. We'll be on our own platforms, going against either an NPC or other people, and do it together.
Yeah, I totally agree. You know, you guys have done a lot of work on the team side. I finally got on a team, and
nice.
Again, the community engagement is a huge. And I think that's exactly what I've envisioned. Is man, how cool it would be to do a boss fight. You know,
Exactly.
and if you guys can figure out how to do that live, where we have like 4 people all doing different moves,
Round robin kind of. Yep.
Yeah, it'd be so cool.
Yeah. So the future definitely will be way more team and multiplayer. There's all sorts of different fun modes we can do for that. Yeah.
And so what does your scalability look like? Are you looking at franchising, or are you just trying to, you know, have a couple locations be profitable for a certain period of time? What's that look like for
Good
you?
question. So franchising for sure. You know, so we've tested out a couple of different models, like the gyms we have now that we own, you know, because that's the best way to learn, of course, owning it ourselves. But now we want to be able to scale. And what's exciting about franchising, it sounds like an old school thing, right? Like virtual reality technology, AI, and then like franchising, you know, it's like, seems like those don't fit. But franchising is one of the best models to be able to scale very quickly with less capital needs. And each franchise owner is not just a gym manager, you know, right? You might have 100 open locations with 100 managers, and maybe 90 of them are great, but 10 don't care. Where when you have a franchise, you're going to have people that are bought in and really care and want their community to succeed. So that is the goal. And together with potentially a version for at home in a few years.
Thank you.
Okay, good question.
All right, guys, let's give Ryan another big round of applause. Thank you so much, Ryan.
Thank you.
And please, if you have time, check out. They've got the happy hours on the schedule, but honestly, you can drop by anytime. They have a great staff over there. They're super, super educational. They'll show you. They will give you a demo. Yeah. By the way, I'm going to say it right now. Your team over downtown, they've been great.
That's awesome.
So you guys know.
That's
Big
awesome.
fan of those guys.
Heck yeah. We clanned up, got the best guild. Thank you, everybody.